In this campaign, I'll be discussing health and stress as well as the physical and mental effects that come with overstress. By the end of this presentation, I aim to provide a better understanding of stress, ways to identify stress as well as various treatments methods used to help and aid those struggling to cope with stress. I would like to begin by saying that being stressed shouldn't be something to be embarrassed of or to be looked down upon. It is okay to be stressed, but it's not okay to ignore it and not do anything to manage it. I would like to highlight the importance of maintaining good mental and physical health in order to prevent your body to easily succumb to mental illnesses and strengthen one's immune system in the long run. We rely on our body to complete physical tasks as well as rely on our mind to think and make decisions. In a way, our mind and body are a vehicle that helps us through life, and it makes sense to ensure that it's well maintained in order for us to function normally. Now, what is stress? It is normal for a person to be nervous or stressed, for example, before a test or presentation. The feeling of stress is a response to danger or new situations, also known as fight or flight response, which we use to adapt and survive in dangerous situations. However, if a person is constantly over-worrying about things, nervous and tense, it is highly likely that that person's stress could have turned into anxiety, a prolonged version of stress. This can be very emotionally and physically draining for the person, which could potentially interfere with sleep and wears your body out. If not properly attended, these negative influences could affect a child's academic performance, school behavior, and relationships. This can be demonstrated on this inverted U graph, where it demonstrates the relationship between anxiety levels and performance. Low and extreme anxiety levels will result in poor performance. Therefore, it is ideal to maintain at the middle point of the graph where performance is at its peak, meaning that the person is motivated to work hard but not overloaded to a point where they are struggling. In other words, striking a proper work-life balance. According to Beyond Blue, a non-profit organization that focuses in aiding those in mental illnesses, claiming that 1 in 14 young Australians aged 4 to 17 years experienced some sort of anxiety disorder in 2015, which is equivalent to approximately 278,000 young people. This shows that anxiety is still a prevalent disorder, especially among teens. But what causes stress among teens? Since all teens are different, stress can be triggered by multiple factors. These factors can be either external or internal. External factors include academic stress, having high expectations and worrying of meeting any academic demands or deadlines. Pleasing teachers and classmates as well as poor management skills could play into academic stress as well. Social stress. During this developmental stage, teens will feel pressured to fit in with others as well as keep up with recent trends. Those that fail to do so will result in them getting bullied, which adds on to the stress of not being included. Traumatic events. Death of a family member or friend, accidents, sickness, or enduring emotional or physical abuse can have a lasting impact on teen stress levels. Life changes. During this stage, teens are experiencing changes in their body. Additionally, moving or changing schools could trigger stress for teens. And lastly, family discord. Having family problems could affect the teen by having unrealistic expectations, marital problems, sibling relationships, as well as financial problems. It could trigger a spike in teen stress since they will feel inadequate and helpless. Internal causes include negative thoughts and suspicions the person might have, such as feeling like a loser and feeling as though that there's always a second agenda when being complimented by others. Therefore, the teen will constantly feel stress from overthinking of how others view them. Lack of social skills will cause the teen to stray away from public scenarios. This separation will instill a sense of isolation, which will further increase stress levels. And over shyness and aggressiveness will cause teens to lose confidence in themselves and would trigger stress since they are unable to fit in with others. There are two ways of identifying the signs of stress, which is in the form of physical and emotional indicators. Physical indicators include constant aches and pains, chest pains, headaches, and fatigue, while emotional indicators include anxiety, tension, irritability, depression, and moodiness, feeling overwhelmed, and restlessness. Those that are suffering from anxiety tend to seclude themselves from others since they feel alone and behind on life. Therefore, it is important to voice out any suppressed emotions to an adult, or if you notice any of your friends that have shown these symptoms, refer these treatment methods that I'm going to share. There are various methods of dealing with stress, but it really depends on the severity of the stress levels as well as your age and general health. Often these treatments will combine both therapy and medication. For those that are suffering with less severe periods of stress, may consider self-treatment, whereby a person is able to manage stress at home without any clinical supervision. Various exercises include stress management. This is where a person organizes any stressful tasks and regulates any pressures and deadlines. It's important for the person to make time for themselves in order to strike a proper work-life balance. Secondly, having a strong support network. Having a strong supportive family background is important in managing anxiety levels. Through talking and voicing out any suppressed emotions will reduce anxiety levels, since the person suffering from anxiety will feel less lonely. Lastly, exercise. By having a physical and active lifestyle, it can improve a person's self-image and trigger a release of chemicals in the brain, serotonin and dopamine mixed with endorphins, which will stimulate positive or happy emotions, hence reducing anxiety levels. However, if the person suffering from high levels of anxiety, it is recommended to seek counseling and therapy. This treatment involves psychological treatment in the form of cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT. CBT focuses on how a person's thoughts and beliefs affect their feeling and behaviors. It replaces negative thoughts with more beneficial ways of thinking and behaving. This relieves symptoms of mental and physical conditions and allow people to live better lives. Furthermore, there are various organizations and hotlines that aim to aid to educate those suffering from anxiety-related disorders. Some of these prominent groups in Australia include Beyond Blue, a non-profit organization which aims to promote good mental health and help those that are affected by anxiety, depression, and suicide. Through various digital and online support services and programs such as their online forums, he has managed to attract 70,000 users each month, where users are able to communicate and discuss their feelings and thoughts. With the launch of their new mental health coaching program, New Access, which is cost-effective and easily accessible, an independent evaluation report showed 67.5% recovery rate among those that completed the program, with more than 70% of participants completing the program. Another group is MindSpot, which was established in 2012. It is a non-profit organization that aims to help people overcome their symptoms of anxiety and depression through their treatment courses, which uses principles of CBT. With more than 15,000 participants that completed the course, an average of 50% reduction in the symptoms of anxiety, MindSpot remains an effective service to all Australians. In conclusion, stress and anxiety is common among teens and isn't something bizarre or out of the ordinary. Normal amounts of stress are good for you since it allows you to perform and complete tasks more efficiently. Stress also triggers fight or flight responses, whereby the brain notices some form of stress and starts flooding the body with chemicals like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol. This creates various reactions which increases blood pressure and heart rate, which increases the person's focus and helps to avoid physically stressful situations. At the same time, it improves your heart rate and strengthens your body's immune system, making you less susceptible to various diseases as well as mental illnesses. However, it is your responsibility to ensure that your body isn't overstressed by noticing any early telltale signs of anxiety and acting accordingly by following any of the self-treatment exercises. Prolonged periods of stress isn't good for your body and will in fact weaken your immune system, as well as lead to mental illnesses such as depression. It is important to remember that there is help out there. Organizations such as Beyond Blue and MindSpot are available to provide aid so that you don't feel alone and teach you how to cope with your anxiety better in order to live a better life.